Hello, my name is Orlondo Hundley, and today Marco Rubio sat in front of a Senate hearing and he discussed what transpired 4 weeks ago and a lot of things pertaining to the Trump administration's foreign policy at this moment, most directly addressing what transpired in Venezuela, discussing how the oil revenue and the difference between how the companies that are coming into the U.S. companies that are coming in to oversee the oil industry in Venezuela, in the difference between that and the oil that has been sanctioned, and the difference of accounting for the revenue moving forward. He also discussed why the Trump administration did send $300 million to Maduro's government, even though Maduro is sitting in a New York City jail. And I do think I need to state clearly that I think Maduro should be freed and returned back to Venezuela, because there was no authority in which President Trump or his administration genuinely carried out this law enforcement action, as they called it. And the just really Congress and the Senate need to step up and think about what it does mean to declare an act of war, or even the phrasing of the Trump administration and how they talk about this as a kinetic action, and how it wasn't a war, or an action of war, but and define that in the terms of, well, it only lasted 4 hours, as if we can scale wars from lasting from only 4 hours to all the way up until 10 years, or forever wars, as we've seen across the globe, funded by the U.S. dime. And then, Senator Rand Paul made a lot of good points. Two interactions that really stuck out to me, and where, the two poles of the party is in Rand Paul, who discussed the legal limitations of the president, engaging in the sort of behavior, or not President Trump in particular, but presidents, the last couple presidents, and how they've engaged in, acts of war without the approval of Congress, or Congress, holding a hearing, and even voicing the disappointment that it took 4 weeks for Marco Rubio to sit in front of this committee. And I think that probably speaks to how so much, whether you're, a progressive or a conservative or a libertarian, I do think, we want our government structures to be in constant communication, in dialogue, out in the open. And the idea that so much has gone wrong, where the mode of operation is without a doubt, it is these conversations happening behind closed doors. I think so many of us would prefer at this point governance by podcast. But Marco Rubio talked about how it was a law enforcement action, and how they didn't perceive Maduro as the elected president. And it sparked a much larger conversation in the chamber about how there's been much dispute over past American elections, presidential elections, where winning and losing candidates claim, suspicion of how the election transpired, and how the losers have often said that the person that won is the illegitimate president, and how that discord here could invite the same sort of behaviors that we've carried out in all these other countries. So I'd love to talk more about this. If there are any questions, leave them down below, and we'll jump back into this. Thank you.